What's going on, people? Just finished a stream of Battleborn, and quite frankly, guys, I'm exhausted. During the stream, I actually said I had been up. Turn that down. I've been up for about a few hours. Uh, Sorry about this, guys. It'd just be weird with no music on. Wow, I can't find any good music. I guess it is no music on tonight. And I'm just gonna go ahead and throw some stuff up on the screen. And go ahead with just a couple things for you guys. So I'm in Central Time, around the Chicagoland area, and just yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, let's go. All right, so just put that down there for it. And so I'm basically streaming tonight just to talk to you guys. I know you get some of my gameplay, and I ramble on a lot when I do play games, but I just want to sit back and talk to you guys. So basically, give me a moment. I'm sorry, I'm pulling on my YouTube monitor. I should be broadcasting. Well, it's not showing that it's broadcasting right now, but oh well. Can you guys see me? All right, great. Hopefully, you guys can hear me as well. Let me see. Let me just test it. Yeah, no, yeah, I can hear me. So I'm on tonight. Like I said, I just actually finished some Battleborn. What you see behind me is my drawings. I should have actually had this set up. I spent so much time setting up so I can be able to talk to you guys tonight. So as you can see, I'm moved it away from where my normal gaming chair is, um, in my office chair. I've been up since about 4:30 this morning. Got up, got stuff ready for work, and about a day ago, I had a turkey in my freezer. Somebody um, reminded me that hey, they never tasted smoked turkey, so I did it for mom. She asked me around her birthday that she wanted some smoked turkey, and she realized that I had the smoker, so I decided to do it this weekend. Long weekend, long Labor Day weekend, so I decided, hell, why not? Now, I'm personally am the gamer. I hate that tag. I hate that term for what people try to make it out to be. But not to throw my credentials or anything that nature. Make sure that stays active. I've been a gamer since '89. I think I was 7 when I first got my console. I had originally the Atari 2600. No, the 7700. And then my friend that I used to go to school with gave me a lot of his 2600 games. I've had the Nintendo, the Master System too, Super Nintendo. I had the Game Gear, Sega. Um, then I went to PlayStation. And I've been a PlayStation person for the remainder of the game in my gaming history. I did buy my 10-year-old a Xbox One S, but I'm not really a Xbox One a Xbox fan. I'm a story-driven game guy. Just to give you a little bit of a crazy things that I've actually played. I remember this Super Nintendo was this game called Flying Warriors, which was one part action game, one part turn-based attack game. Of course, I had the original Final Fantasy on Nintendo, and I used to play it on one of those old black and white TVs where you would it was about the size. It was a little bit bigger than this phone, and I was stuck playing Final Fantasy on there, and I could never know what to do because basically get I would basically get stuck on the one part, not knowing I need to to the going to the castle and fight originally Garland. And when I finally figured that out, it was pretty much too late. I remember playing The Legend of Zelda. I remember Mario, my God, Mario. I remember renting Mario 2 and wanted to just scream because it was just so far away from what Mario was. I remember Mario Brothers 3. Oh my God, I love Mario Brothers 3. I watched The Wiz, the first or the last 10 minutes of it, and everybody knew the Warp Whistle code. Everybody knew how to connect to get to the final stages, and people kind of made fun of that code because Nintendo released it when they shouldn't have. But what was fun about it is once you beat the game, you actually were able to get all of those super flights where the flight would be always powered, and you'll play through the game that way, and it was actually pretty cool. I remember, yeah, the Super Nintendo. I remember playing McDonald's World. I know the Angry Video Game Nerd actually did a video game, but I've actually Angry Noid. I actually played Angry Noid. Marble Madness. Oh my God, I remember Madness for the Nintendo Entertainment System. California Dreams, Excite Bike. All of these are some great games. Super Nintendo. I remember a game on Super Nintendo. Now, of course, I had The Legend of Zelda, but and of course, I had Mega Man X. Who didn't have Mega Man X? And if you were a Mega Man fan, you had Mega Man X, and you got it, and you said, "What the hell? Where's my Mega Man?" And then you had Mega Man 7, which I would prefer Mega Man X to Mega Man 7, and I did. And oh my God, the game, The Illusion of Gaia. Nobody remembers The Illusion of Gaia. It is such a wonderful game that not a lot of people actually got, but it was just action RPG, and it was in the same veil as um, Link into the Past, F1 or F Zero. Wow, did I say F1? Pilot Wings. These are all some great games that we had when we was a kid, and I hate that we don't have those games anymore. I remember going to sleepovers when I was a kid, and this one sleepover I got a friend from school when I was in grade school. We got into a fight with somebody at the sleepover, and we were like really getting into trouble. And this is when if you went over somebody's house, their parents had permission to whoop you, and his dad set us, the guy who was fighting, set us in front of like either y'all get a whooping and you know it be done with because it was a sleepover for a couple of days, or you guys work together and win a soccer match. And by the end of that match, we were like the best, and we won. It was that soccer volleyball game that Nintendo came out with. Um, what's another one? Oh my god! I remember one of my first long term girlfriends. Her brother had a Super Nintendo, and I used to go over there. I went over. She invited me over there to play games, and one thing led to another. But that's a different story. So many games, and that's why I play games. I never play games to say I'm better than you or you're garbage or things of that nature. And the rivalry that they try to play up now, it was okay back then, but I guess I missed that range where it was it was just never that much of a rivalry. We were just glad to have the consoles, and maybe because that's where I grew up. But I remember playing the Sonic games, and a channel that I follow actually, you know, it used to be the 1316 killer, but he actually got me thinking about some of the he uploaded some retro games. He got me thinking about some of the other games I used to play. I had the RoboCop for the Game Gear, um, and oh my god, I saw a re-upload that he did of Sonic 3, and that had to been the best game where you actually played it. And I think I made a comment in this comment section talking about how originally it should have been all of the levels. It should have been Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And it was like the first instance in my memory I know of that the gaming industry did some bullshit where they broke up DLC. And of course, they didn't call it DLC, they just called it a separate game, and they put the games together. I remember getting my PlayStation, uh, the original PlayStation, and I remember, of course, getting Final Fantasy VII, but I also remember fun little game, also made by Square Enix, called Parasite Eve, and that's where I really learned about Japanese games and how weird as shit they are. And Parasite Eve 1, which was actually a sequel to the book that was originally a light novel in Japan. And oh my god, that game was crazy. Now they hit Parasite Eve 2 and they kind of changed the controls to kind of a tank controls, which kind of was reminiscent of um, Resident Evil, or Resident Evil 2 to actually be specific. But I don't know. It was different. Around that time, I actually started getting into watching Dragon Ball Z. Um, just getting the scans and the images offline. This one right here is probably one of my first big drawings of Dragon Ball Z, and I have some other ones I can actually, you know, I've tried doing like a screen like morph to some of the pictures that I know I have and I still have, but it's actually pretty. Eh, I don't have a gaming PC. I really don't have a PC most of the time when I'm streaming for you guys. I'm streaming on PlayStation 4, of course, and I have a couple of old laptops where people are the screen is broke, and so like right now, my monitor that I'm using to watch to make sure that the stream is going good, I basically taken an old TV and hooked it up using a HDMI cord. Now, going back to my gaming history, of course, I had the PS2. Didn't really go for the Sega stuff after Genesis. I had a ton of Genesis games from the X-Men game. Oh my God, Comic Zone. I've had a few other games. So many games that I can't remember it. Of course, I sold most of them to actually trade up to another game, and it was a lot of fun. Um, I know I still have and you can play it on PlayStation 3, which I still have hooked up. But I went back out and found Parasite Eve 1 and 2. But I still never got rid of my um, Final Fantasy Anthology or Final Fantasy Chronicles. Is one or the other. I bought a little bit later on in life. Um, as far as PlayStation go, um, I pretty much hit that in one system when it started to get bad. I got the PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 2, I love the PlayStation 2. It was so many fun games. And I actually had the one that you can play the backwards compatible, and it was that big, the old fatty that was actually pretty fun. Um, Again, I started getting more into drawing. I started actually going ahead and just watching more Japanese cartoons. I remember when I was young. I remember this show that used to come on in this Chicagoland area. So it was a show that used to come on called Japanimation, and it would just have the really raunchy, horrible, horrifying Japanese animation comics and whatever you want to call it. At that time, I remember watching Doom Metropolis. That was a great show. Vampire Hunter D, and some of these are things that I can't find anymore without spending some money on. And quite frankly, on Amazon I have Hulu, Crunchyroll, Funimation. I'm not gonna spend extra money on things that I don't need to. Um, what was another one? Crying Freeman, Doom Metropolis, Vampire Hunter D. All of these are some great, just twisted anime. And I can't remember what this one was that I really enjoyed. It was called Three Arrows or Three Wolves, and it was just awe inspiring. And yeah, of course, I didn't realize that Voltron was anime, or Transformers were originally anime, but it was just those cartoons. And I remember watching G.I. Joe faintly and watching Transformers. Oh my God, the Smurfs, the original Mr. T, the original Alvin and the Chipmunks. Those are some of the things from my childhood. And I know I'm rambling on, guys. I just wanted to make sure that I just gave you some information and just let you guys know just a little bit more about me, why I like the games that I play. Now, I'm just looking at just the games that I can actually see. Of course, I have some games that are digital copies. So, Infamous Second Son, Um, what else? I have Doom that I'm about to get back to, Far Cry 4, Guitar Hero, which I got from my daughter, Titanfall 2, Just Cause 3, Bioshock, the Ezio Collection, Kingdom Hearts, of course. I was just playing Battleborn, Diablo 3, and that's another thing. I'm actually have played games on the computer, but for me, computer games, I would rather play internet window based games. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Um, and I'm actually trying to see if I can actually bring this up on the screen, guys. Sorry about that. I know actually not too long ago I saved my trophy score. And as soon as I find a way, I'm gonna actually put out my trophy list to make sure you guys see some of the hundreds of games that I've played over the years, and those are ones that I've just had trophies for. Um, I do have some games that I want to focus more on in these channels with these streams, and I want to kind of get back to editing my videos a little bit better, other than just uploading them for Twitch. But with real life stuff and work and a 10-year-old, thank God she doesn't need as much attention as she used to when she was younger, but she's still my kid that I take a lot of time with, making sure that I teach her, raise her, whatever you want to call it. Um, of course, my drawing does take some time away from playing video games, and of course, while still warm, I actually do a lot of bike riding and working out. And if you actually subscribe to my Patreon, I have a few videos where I've actually done workouts. What else? Sorry, guys, I sit at the desk all day, and um, it gets me to the point where I get antsy, and that's why I want to make sure that you know, I, excuse me, I get some physical activity throughout the day. Um, let's talk about my setup. So my setup is usually my seat, my chair that I have that's more comfortable to game in. But quite honest, guys, sometimes when I game in it, I get tired. Staring at the screen all day. Come home, get some gaming done for you guys. What else? Um, I do a lot of bike riding. I actually have a video on this channel called Reflections that you may want to actually take some time to watch. I'm gonna actually start more of a blog on just my random thoughts and feelings. Um, Not that I have brain farts like a lot of people do on Facebook, but I think with my friends on Facebook, I actually get lost. Some of it gets lost because you have friends on Facebook, and then you have people that are quote unquote friends, and I think some of it gets lost to the majority of the world. But hey, I'm used to it. I'm used to it because if it was one thing that I can always say, I am somebody who likes to, not in a vernacular, speak his mind. I like to make sure that you know what's going on with your mind. I joked one time with a friend of mine saying that I don't destroy people's perception of what they think. It's not fun to throw a rock through somebody's belief to shatter their belief in something or some form of whatever. What I do is hand them the rock, and they throw it. Now you can get me mad at me for handing them the rock, but I never want to actually change somebody's perception of something if it means really hurting them in the long run. I just ask that you listen, and that's what I do about my playstyle. I just ask if you listen. You don't have to play like me. You can say the way I play is stupid. Hey, I am not going to whatever I play or however I play it, unless I'm doing just totally wrong. Hey, um, just take it as my artistic way of actually doing it. There we go. No, well, I guess that's not gonna work. But just take it as my way of actually doing it because in the end, we're all looking to make sure that we have fun in this life and not to get too depressing. But and happiness, what is it really? Something that's fleeting. But what I do want to make sure I leave you guys with, and as soon as I find it online, I'm actually read it for you. Give me a moment. And this kind of informed my decision of if I'm gonna do this or not. If I'm gonna put myself out there, even though I I wouldn't say I'm shy, no, and I wouldn't say I'm bombastic. Wow, I'm tired. Um, I would say, um, if we were to break it down in religion, I would want a cult versus a church, and I know it's kind of a funny way of actually putting it, but I'm okay with not a lot of people knowing much. I'm okay with actually, and hold on, guys, I'm about to charge this charger. Give me a second. All right, that should be a lot better. All right, I'm okay um with you guys knowing a little bit about me. I'm okay with actually putting myself out there a little bit, and to be quite honest with you guys, one of my favorite things is philosophy. That informs my choice about games. That informs the way I treat people in life. That informs the way I just the way I carry myself. Always thinking about what's next. Always thinking about just how what I'm doing would actually affect other people. Um, I know everybody knows the Nietzsche quote: "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." But I kind of favor a couple other quotes from his. And one of the things that uh, it's just an amazing quote. And a lot of people have heard the first part of the quote. But the quote is, "He who fights monsters should take care in the process not to become one." And when you stare into the abyss stares back into you. How many times have you stared into the abyss this year, this month, this week, this day? Now, of course, the month just started, but but that's what I like about being able to look at life. Now, what I'm gonna actually do with you guys is I'm gonna actually leave out with a quote um, by another philosopher, and it was a guy called Soren Kierkegaard, and it was actually a good quote. And when you hear it, um, and you think about it, I hope you guys actually understand understand why I like it. Me being an insightful person that I am. So I'm almost finished pulling it up. And Kierkegaard he was actually a biblical scholar, but he he actually had some interesting he had some interesting phrases. So just waiting for that to quote to come up. All right. So I'll leave you with this, guys. Still waiting for it to come up. Sorry about this. And it's getting close to midnight here, and I'm gonna actually be calling it off in a second. Okay, that's not working. Again, using somebody's old piece of equipment. All right, all right. My phone it actually came up quicker, and I need to get a new one of these. All right, all right, all right. So Kierkegaard, one of the philosophers that I've read into. I wouldn't even say study, but taking some time to read into. This was one of his famous quotes, and I hope this helps you govern your life and understand how finite and important life is, but also to understand some of the choices that you may have to make. So the quote goes this way: marry and you'll regret it. Don't marry and you'll regret that as well. Marry, don't marry, you regret either way. Laugh at the world's foolishness, which I'm guilty of, and you'll regret it. Weep over it, and you'll regret that too. Laugh at the world's foolishness or weep over it. You'll regret both. Believe a woman and you'll regret it. Believe her not and you'll also regret it. Hang yourself, you'll regret it. Do not hang yourself and you'll regret that too. Hang yourself or don't hang yourself. You'll regret it either way. Whether you hang yourself or do not hang yourself, you'll regret both. This, gentlemen, is the essence of philosophy. What that quote says to me is that no matter what you do, the choice that you didn't take, you always wonder about it. And so I'm taking this choice to let you guys into a little bit of my life and let you guys know a little bit more about me, my gaming history. And as that goes, I am tired as hell. I need to give me some rest. I do want to give you some updates that I'm going to probably put on my Facebook channel, a schedule which I'm going to try to strictly adhere to, but it's going to actually come up with some gaming for my weekly schedule. I try to give you guys at least 4 days a week. I know definitely Monday, definitely Wednesday if Twitch gets its act together, and definitely Sunday. If I can get a Saturday or a Friday stream, that'd be great. If you've caught this stream or catch it in post, just give me some feedback. If you want to see a lot of more of my gameplay with some editing, as I do with my Smite videos, let me know. If you want to see some of the games that I have played or I've told you about and I've only played once, let me know. I am signing out, you guys, and enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great Memorial Day weekend.